I know, Stephanie. I know. I know. I know. Can you share this? Can you share this message? Can you share this message with whoever you feel led to? Hey, Miss Allen, what's going on? I believe God will tell you who to share it to, Stephanie. Thank you so much. Who, y'all? When I say today has been a day, can y'all hear me? Today has been a day. Move back, Bella. Get off me. Today has been a day, y'all. It has been a day of testing for sure. Um, it's been a day of testing for sure. God wanted me to get on here. And I guess the declaration is, what do you do when God says no? What do you do when God says no? You know, especially when it's something that you feel you need to do. What do you do when God says no? And I believe we all have like had um a moment where we feel we need to do something and God be like, no. Can you send this to Sabrina if you did not send it to Sabrina, Stephanie? I think that, that is like, I think we all have experienced moments where we really feel like we need to do something like, God, I need to do X, Y, and Z. And then God just be like, hey, Kanema. And God be like, no. Anybody ever like dealt with that? Like, you feel you need to do something. God be like, no, you're not doing what you feel you're not doing. No. God be like, straight up, no. No. He literally be like, no. I know you feel like you really want to, and sometimes our emotions will, you know what I mean? They will make us kind of go against the grain of God until He really like begins to like solidify that no. And so again, the declaration is, what do you do when God says no? I've had God tell me no to things that I really felt I needed at the time. So many times I like it. It has happened to me on so many different occasions. I had a moment today where you guys know it has just been up and down today. It's just like it came out of nowhere from, my dog. And honestly, now that I look back on it, he's not as bad as he was yesterday. Today was better, but I had a moment where, I'm like, okay, God, my vet opens, at 6, PM, my old vet, the one that's closing. And so, my goal was, all right, God, I'm gonna go ahead and take him out. We gonna leave early. It was like 4:30. We gonna leave early and we just gonna get there and wait. And so I get to the car and get him in the car. We pulling out. I felt so convicted because I knew God was saying no. I knew God was saying no, that I literally had to just literally put the car in reverse and put it in park. Anybody ever felt that kind of conviction where you're doing something and it's like you'll know what God is saying, but like your emotions are like, like leading you to like do what you feel you need to do. And you just get so convicted in your heart that you can't even really do, what you feel like you're going to do. And so, again, the declaration is, what do you do when God says no? You sit still. That's what you do. And I think that there are so many different answers to this question. Because even as I was talking to Stephanie, I'm like, I kind of feel like I'm gonna try again. And before I could get it out, God was like, you're not going to the vet. I know you feel like you want to, but you're not going. And it's like there are so many different questions to like, what do you do when God says no? In some instances, what you do when God says no, I think a lot of times when God says no, it's when we're moving and we're not supposed to be moving. So in moments like that, you sit still. You sit still unless you risk, getting into a self-created storm. So that's number one. Number one, sit still when God is saying no. And I think he speaks that no to us in so many different ways, whether it is a closed door, whether it is things not working out, the way that you expected, whether, you have more. Sometimes you'll feel anxiety. You'll feel so, am I freezing? Can somebody let me know if I'm freezing? Because I was freezing earlier and I do not want to keep talking if I know I'm freezing. Okay. Thank you, Stephanie. So, number one is sit still. Like there are some moments where, God is, we feel like we need to do things. And number one, some moments you need to sit still. And God speaks that no in those moments that we need to sit still so clear, where instead of a door opening, the door will remain shut, and we will feel the friction of pressure that we're creating. It's kind of like, rubbing firewood together to make a fire, right? It's friction. Like what creates like the fire is the friction from like a fire, like a fire that's made by hand. It's friction. So the friction comes and it creates a fire. So a lot of times, sometimes when God needs us, when he's saying no, we'll feel friction instead of a release. You'll feel anxiety instead of peace. And so I think that some instance God requires, when he says no, it means, you know, sit still. Whatever you're doing, stop it. I'm going to say it again. Whatever you are doing, absolutely stop it. And sometimes, there are moments where, it's just, and I honestly think that every point that I'm about to give you guys revolves around sitting still, because there is nothing good that can come from going against the grain of God saying no. The only thing that'll come from that is disappointment, frustration, discouragement. I was frustrated early. And even I told Stephanie, I said, I honestly believe that me going to that first vet was God's sign, because they really could not find anything wrong with my dog. They couldn't, it was guesswork. They were guessing. I'm going to be real. They were guessing because nothing was physically wrong with him. Am I making sense? And so it's like, I think what this year has taught me is that when it's time to move forward on something, you will know. It's taught me to really pay attention to the moments where God is saying no. And sometimes you can know to like you can know what to do, but you be outside of God's timing. So sometimes when God says no, it's because we're outside of his timing, and it doesn't mean never move on it. It just simply means now is not the time. Don't do it yet, right? It's kind of like the gift of prophecy. Where many younger prophets like go wrong is they release words that God didn't say, like they release words out of God's timing. And they get mad when the word is like met with such resistance, or when the person they're, giving the word to doesn't receive it. It's because it's not in God's timing, right? And people, in some younger prophets, some immature prophets will call you rebellious. And it's not that you're rebelling, it's just they did it. They were the rebel. They spoke it out of God's timing. It's kind of like y'all hear me sometimes prophetically speaking, and God will tell me sometimes, don't say that right now. Don't tell them that part right now, right? And so it's just, today has just been one of those days where, I've just had to rest in God. Even like, the payout from HAPS. God wants me to talk about that. Like this morning, I finally got enough awards on here to finally get a payout from HAPS. And, I'm thinking, because of Google, it tells you that it's automatically, they have it on the app, like where it's automatic. I ended up having to email someone, and they told me this morning, I'm going to process it later today. Right. And so it's like, hindsight is 2020 with the way that this day has played out. It's like, Lord, who's to say that I wouldn't have spent all of that money, because it would have given me enough to pay for Capone at the first vet? Like, Lord, who's to say, like, I understand why it was held up, because I would have spent it the wrong way. I would not have discerned. I would have allowed fear, right, to speak louder than like the voice of God. And I would have been sitting here not with any food, not with anything, right? I would have been in a honestly a self-created storm. And so it's like, it's been so many different lessons. And even though I still don't understand why God is saying, don't go to the vet tonight, I don't get it. But all I can do at this point is trust God. If he say no to something, all you can really do is sit still and trust God. That's really all you can do. Because just because you pushing, it's nothing that a man can do to make God know a yes. If it's not time for something to happen, it literally is nothing that you can do to like make it happen. And so it's like today has shown me that. And it's also shown me like how God will hold back the blessing. Because the blessing really didn't come until I kind of knew I wasn't going to the vet. right? It literally came maybe about 30 minutes ago. And it was at a time where I just knew, okay, God, I'm not going to the vet. You didn't release it until I got a hold, got it embedded in my heart that that is not what you want me to do. And so, like, for those of you guys that feel like your blessings, am I freezing? Am I freezing? I think it glitched a little bit. Am I good? Somebody let me know. Are we good? Okay, I'm not freezing. But today has just been such a revelatory day. Thank you. Today has been such a revelatory day. It's like how when God says no, you can't make it be a yes. Just because your emotions tell you you need to move on something, like you have to honor God's no. But it's also shown me like there are moments when, you know, God will withhold the blessing. If he knows your heart not right, if he knows that your heart is not receptive to what he wants you to do, he'll hold it back. And so that was what I saw happen today. Like God waited until I got to a point where I understood, okay, this is not what you want me to do. You do not want me to go to the vet right now, not tonight. Right? And so it's just, I don't know how I feel about that, but I get it. I understand the revelation. I understand that this was one God's way of humbling me and saying, hey, I'm in control. But I also saw, like, on today, like, in the mix of so many tests, oh my goodness, I saw God keep me in the midst of so many tests. I saw that, man, the enemy is really just out to get me. He's really just trying to ruffle my feathers for whatever reason today. He is really trying to like get me wound up like a few days before Christmas. It just, you can't do nothing but be grateful. And I think that, like, when it's all said and done, like, that's the word that I feel the most right now is grateful. Even though I don't understand, like, I understand, God, you're saying no. So all I can do is respect that no. And it's like I couldn't even drive to that vet even if I wanted to, because God has spoken like a no over that. It's nothing that I can do at this moment but surrender. And I think that those are like really the three keys. When God says no, you know, sit still, humble yourself, and surrender and stand. You stand, on whatever, you're believing God for, you stand. I think that that's why God puts us in situations where there's nothing that we can do, because it forces us to trust Him. It forces us to trust Him in a way that, honestly and quite frankly, can be uncomfortable. It forces us to trust Him in a way that hurts to trust. Right? And so that was kind of where, my thoughts were. And I guess that's the update. Like, I won't be going to the vet tonight. It hurts to say that, but I surrender, and I understand God is saying no. Um, I literally felt like you're not taking him, to the vet. And then I kept moving, got in the car, put the car in drive. Y'all just don't know. I put the car in reverse and I'm driving off, and boy, oh boy, the conviction was so real. I didn't even really make it an inch. Like, God didn't even let me really like make it like an inch, because all I literally had to do was back right back up into the park I pulled out of. And I'm just like, oh, you ain't playing with me. But on the high, but another perspective is, I understand that for me, it's just me telling the devil no, and this is pushing my faith, because this year the enemy has attacked my dogs over and over and over again, and it didn't just drain me like my faith. It didn't just attack my faith, but it also attacked, like, even the finances, because it would literally be like I would get some money in, and I had things that I needed to focus on kingdom wise, things that God needed me to do in the ministry, but it stagnated my growth ministry wise. It was a hindrance. And so it's like I understand that this too is also about breaking a cycle and trusting God in a way. Like, if you really gonna tell the devil no, tell him no. And I think a lot of times we tell the devil no, but then we still tell him yes at the same time. So it'd be like a yes, no type of thing, where it's like we really want to tell the devil no, but because we got this fear, we're kind of caving into the attacks of the enemy, if that makes sense. Am I making sense? Like, sometimes, we be thinking we telling the devil no, but fear be telling, but we cave into the fear. which essentially makes us have to repeat the test, have to repeat the storm. And I honestly think that also too in this, God is whew, can I just flow? Y'all got time for me to flow? Because I believe God wants me to share this as well. I think also too, God like revealed, like He's still been exposing people around me. Like earlier today, He had me call someone that um like I knew, like, this is the person that you're creating videos, prophetic words, posting things, and you're plagiarizing. Like God didn't give you that. He gave me that and I shared it with you. And so he had me call this individual for prayer, and I told them about what had happened. And I didn't want to, but I knew it was just further exposure, the conversation. And so even though I kind of knew, like, when you feel iffy on something you're praying about, it means it's not time, or it means that God is saying no. And so where we get anxious in our prayer life is, we try to make God talk about things, or we're wanting him to, like, speak to whatever our emotion is, like, if that makes sense. And so, I was like, I was telling her, like, I kind of feel like God is telling me, like, not to go to the vet. Like, I feel like he's telling me not to go. And she immediately says she heard the opposite. And I'm like, Lord, how is she hearing, like, the exact opposite? And I was just kind of explaining, like, what I felt like. I feel like this has been something that the enemy has been doing over and over and over again, and it drains me financially. It makes me struggle, and I feel like I shouldn't have to struggle like that. And so she's like, I immediately heard, yes, take the dog to the vet. And it was a spirit of it was a familiar spirit is what it was. And so then, I'm like, I don't even have food for Christmas. I don't even have water, like, I don't even have water. And her response was really what exposed me. I'm like, I don't even have water. I don't even have, this. Her response was, oh wow. Her response was, oh wow. And it's like, it was like a oh wow, not like a I'm sorry for you. It was almost like, you want to see me struggle. Y'all, do y'all get what I'm saying? Like, you do know, like, when somebody says, like, you can say wow certain ways. You can say wow like a concern type of wow, but then, like, when you're talking to someone, like, it's kind of hard. It's not, easy to disguise the nature behind your wow. So it was like a oh wow. And it almost felt like, are you smiling saying wow? Like, do you want me to, like, struggle? It felt like, not only are you thieving, stealing, which is so demonic, it's so demonic. Like, you're stealing, like, the words God is giving me, and you're posting them as if they are your own, as if God has given you these. And then I tell you something that I feel God is telling me, and you automatically, like, go ahead and do it. Now it makes sense, me looking at things like hindsight 2020, and just God saying, I need you to break this cycle. And now I know God is saying, do not go. So it's like, you want to see me drained, you want to see me, in a place where I'm not doing good, because you're not doing good, or it's jealousy is the root. And it's like, it's been a season where it's like, I've known this person for a few years, and it's like, I never expected this person to be a snake. I never expected this person to be a snake. But what do you do when God shows you that? And I believe he allowed me to have that conversation, because it's like, you're not supposed to go where I'm going. Like, this connection can no longer, it's not a connection anymore. Like, you don't want to see me win, because off top, if and I'm sure many of y'all can attest, if somebody tell me, like, hey, I don't have food, I don't have gas, man, I'm sure many of y'all can attest that I'm the first person, if I have it, I'm sending it. Ain't no oh wows. It ain't no oh wow. It's, if you need it, I got you. Or if I don't have it, I'm gonna pray for you. I'm a not only pray that you get it, but I'm gonna pray that if God puts it in my hands, that I can give it to you. I ain't never told nobody, oh wow, you asking for prayer. Oh wow. It was almost like you expected me to be struggling. And even the conversation went like, and God didn't let me really say anything after that, you know, but the conversation kind of went to um her talking about trying to give me advice on like doing videos and stuff. And I had to like really just say, like, listen, I have not been, I really don't. Anybody that know me know I don't care about numbers. I don't do what I do to be seen. I don't desire to be famous, y'all. I don't think many people like get that. If you know me, you know that. I don't desire to be famous. If I did what I did for numbers, baby, I would have stopped broadcasting a while ago. I would have stopped. I don't care about the numbers. I really don't care. I don't want God. If y'all ask God to show y'all, He will tell y'all. I have told Him on so many occasions, I don't want to be famous. Hey, come on. Come on, Pooka Man. Like, God will tell y'all, I don't desire to be, I don't desire to Capone, y'all. I don't desire to be famous. And so it's like after that, even as I'm trying to get off the phone because I'm like, well, I gotta take my dogs out. I gotta do it was just, well, you should start doing reels. I made them, I did a video. I got 1 million views. I got, 57,000 views, and they kind of laughed. They were like, and honestly, it wasn't even nothing to do about to do with me. Nothing to do with God. It was just something stupid. And they messaged me talking about, you know, do I want to get paid? Yo, I'm like, God, one, I'm only posting when you tell me to post. I post because I feel led to post, not because I want to be seen, because I want to make a lot of money. That's never my focus. Making a lot of money, that's not my focus. Getting a lot of views, God, I don't care how many views it gets, as long as it reaches the people that it's meant to reach. It can if God, if my life just reaches, if my videos just reach, if my platforms that you have me stewarding, if they reach one person, God, I've done my job. I've done my job. God, I've done my job. I've done my job. If it's just one person that views it, God, I have done my job. I really have done my job. And so, it just didn't sit right with me because I'm like, one, the oh wow comment, that's strike one. No, the strike one was, I tell you what I hear God saying, and the enemy use you to say the opposite. God has already shown me you're not at a place where you can hear him. You're already still in prophetic words. And there may not be a such thing as stealing prophetic words, but you're not giving honor as to where you got it. You're reverberating as if God gave it to you. I mean, verbatim. Some of this stuff is verbatim. Some of the stuff has been verbatim. So that's really strike number one. So I know I really can't trust your ear to hear God, because you still, you're not honest about what you hear, where you get it from. Right? Your ear to hear God, it's not there. It's not there. And then it's like, was that comment, the oh wow comment, and now all of a sudden you talking about numbers and getting money? Baby, I'm not posting nothing if God can't be glorified. Now I know every once in a while I may post something funny. Every once in a while I may post my shoes. But like, I'm not doing that, like making that a real post. It's just me being me. Baby, I could care less about, honestly, y'all, if I can be real, when I post things on Instagram, I rarely look at how many people like it. I rarely look at how many people view the videos. I don't even go back on Haps to see if people, I don't care. Am I making sense? I really don't even care. I don't care. I don't care about stuff like that. I don't care. So it's like in this hour, now this is somebody that calls themselves a prophet. So it's like in this hour, God is exposing. Like we have to start paying attention. Yes, I know, like, it's kind of like sometimes prophets will mirror, they will say the same thing, but they say the same thing different ways. Like y'all may hear God, some of the recent broadcasts that God has had me do, and you may see another prophet mirror the same thing, but it's never verbatim. It's in whatever language that prophet speaks in. Am I making sense? It's in whatever language that prophet, that leader speaks in. It's never verbatim. And so it's just like God is doing so much exposure, and He's just saying, open your eyes to see what's before you. Open your eyes. It's kind of like Prophet Jolyn Whitaker. That's one person where sometimes, especially recently, God will have me speak a thing, and then I'll just so happen to see her post something that Bella, no, no, get down, get down. Don't step on him. It'll confirm, but it's never spoken in the same language. It confirms, but it's not spoken in the same language. Excuse the pillow up there, my dog. And so it's like we really, in this day and age, we have really got to be mindful that everybody that posts statuses, everybody that posts in these videos, we really have to start trying the spirit with the spirit. Because here's the thing, if they are mimicking someone else, because God has created us all to be different, if they are mimicking, I don't even know why he got me talking about this, if they are mirroring someone else, if they're already doing things that are not honorable, why would you think they could speak a right now word over you? It's called a spirit of familiarity. It's a familiar spirit. It's demonic. And at the root of it, with people like that, it's jealousy. Jealousy to whoever they're mimicking. God didn't let me tell this individual what I really wanted to tell them. Like, listen, I'm not posting no video. I'm not. All he had me tell this person was, listen, God has not had me doing that. I've been doing what he tells me to do when he tells me to do. I don't care about no numbers. I don't care about money. My motive is not money. And I really wanted to tell them, because your money, your motive is money, you'll never get any. You'll never get any. God is exposing y'all. That's why I say today has just been, whew, it's been a day. It really has just been a day of just so much going on around me. And God telling me no just required that I stand in knowing him, knowing how he deals with me, and that I have faith. Everywhere around me has been chaotic today. Everywhere. But I'm grateful. That's why I say the word sums up grateful. I'm grateful. I'm so grateful. I'm so grateful. Grateful for the exposure. Does it hurt? Yeah, it hurt when God exposes somebody that you really didn't think that, this person was like that way. But I also understand, cut the cord. God, you saying no to that. You saying no not to go to this vet. So guess what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna chill. I'm not gonna do nothing. I'm gonna chill. I'm gonna stand still and see the salvation of my Lord. And I'm gonna be at peace. I'm gonna be at peace. And honestly, even with that coming, oh wow, it's just like this is a person that's praying against they're praying against God elevating me. How could you not? How could you not be? And so That's it, y'all. I'm gonna chill tonight. I'm not going. Listen, I'm not even trying to get in that car. Do y'all hear me? That conviction wounded me so bad. I don't even want to touch the car tonight. I don't think y'all know. I'm like, God, I'm done for the night. I'm not going to the car. I'm not. Nope. Nope, Lord. Nope. I ain't going to no grocery store. God, I will get up early in the morning and go to the grocery store. But listen, as for me right now, baby, I ain't going to that car tonight. Mm-mm. Miss Allen, Stephanie, listen, I ain't going to that. I ain't touching it. Do y'all hear me? I ain't touching that car. I'm not trying to look at the keys. Do y'all hear me? I ain't trying to look at the keys. Listen, Miss. Listen, I'm staying inside. I'm finna order me something to eat because I had something earlier today. God let me get Chick-fil-A. Why y'all didn't tell me Chick-fil-A breakfast was that good? I'm really like a grilled chicken nugget type person, but I got there at like 10 and that sausage biscuit with that grape jelly was so good to me. I hadn't had one in so long. Listen, y'all, it was so good to my soul. I said, Lord, help me. It was so good to my soul, y'all. And I ain't ate since then. But no, I ain't going nowhere. Stephanie, I'm not going nowhere. I'm not even stepping foot outside this door. It's not happening. It's not happening. And so that's that, y'all. That is that. That's that. I'm about to chill. I think I'm gonna do me some cardio tonight. I'm feeling better. And that's the thing about it. When you like really surrender to God saying no on certain things, and when you really like understand what's really happening, when He really gives you understanding, like you have peace. Cause it's like now, God, I'm at peace. Like I don't feel all over the place. I feel at peace. I feel at peace. You just needed me to tell the devil no and solidify that no and not move in fear. I feel peace. So that's it, y'all. That is it. I love y'all. I'm going to keep y'all updated. But I believe that tomorrow my dog is going to be even better than he was today. I believe that it is good. It is well. It is well. It is well. And so I love y'all, man. I'm rooting for y'all. And so